Amazon plans to replace 600,000 US workers with robots and AI by 2033. But don't just take my word for it. This is reported by the New York Times in a leaked memo from Amazon. This was not a public statement designed to spike the stock, which the stock did spike, of course, 2.5%. But this was, in fact, a plan that is in place by the robotics team at Amazon. But what jobs are at stake? What does this mean for you and what you do? Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, let's look at exactly what this leaked memo says so we can be informed before we start jumping ship and changing careers. So according to the New York Times, Amazon robotics team aims to automate 75% of all operations. Guys, that's 160,000 positions that would need to be filled by 2027. So essentially what they're doing is, instead of hiring positions for the growth that Amazon is experiencing, they're saying we need more robots, more robots, more robots. And by 2027, that's a potential 160,000 roles that humans like you and me could have served. Again, what type of roles are being replaced? We'll get to that in just a moment. Thanks for hanging on. And by the way, if you're interested in the future of work and how AI and robotics impact your ability to remain relevant, respected, and financially free, guys, this is the time to hit like and subscribe. I'm bringing you fresh videos Monday through Saturday right here on the channel. And on Sunday, boys, we rest. I know you guys might not get with that, but on Sundays we rest. And regardless, Monday through Saturday, fresh video about how AI is impacting the workforce. So thanks for subscribing. But get this, if they are successful in automating this amount of jobs, it is estimated they will save up to 30 cents per item delivered. Guys, that's $12.6 billion in savings by 2027. Do you think the company is not going to try to do that? Of course they are. This is a corporation. They have an incentive to deliver a better product and service at a lower cost. That's their obligation to customers. And by the way, if they are successful in saving 30 cents per item delivered, I feel like me and my wife would be millionaires, considering how many items she orders on Amazon. By the way, does your wife ever do this where she'll say, oh, we need to make a stop, I need to make a return to Amazon, and then she says, I just made 20 bucks. It's like, well, you didn't really make 20 bucks. This is not like a net positive. Does that happen to you? If it does, type in the comments below. I'd like to hear from you. That's kind of a funny wife math thing that happens for me. At any rate, they are going to be automating and using robotics more and more to save more and more money. It's just a math game, guys. And this is not a new thing. This should not be a surprise to you. In fact, I covered this in a video a couple months ago. Amazon now has over 1 million robots in warehouses now. In fact, there's almost more robots in warehouses than humans. I covered this just a couple months ago. They crossed that threshold in July. And why would they stop? Why would they stop? They are so, I don't know if you've seen any videos of what an Amazon warehouse looks like now. It's just robots zipping around the floor, left, right, up, down, forward, backward, all over the place. This is not a new thing. But what is also interesting, and this is, I could not corroborate this 100%, but what is interesting is there are reports that Amazon knows that job replacements could lead to backlash. So they have considered avoiding terms like AI and automation, instead opting for terms like advanced technology. And one of the things that I find interesting when I look at companies that are releasing new AI initiatives, they'll use terms like we are improving our operational efficiency and stuff like that. And it's like, no, we know what you're doing. We know that you're offsourcing and outsourcing jobs to AI and robotics. Like we understand that that's the game. But it's just funny that these companies think that, by using these kind of different keywords, they can lower the amount of public disdain. At any rate, I think it's interesting that point comes up, because I know a lot of guys in the comments. By the way, the comments are killer, guys. Keep them coming. But one of the things that I see in the comments quite frequently is this idea that, well, companies are just saying they're using AI to boost their stock price. But what we see in this Amazon story, and with the kind of coded language that these guys are using, is they're not coming out and saying, well, we're using AI and robotics. Most of the time they're going to say something like operational efficiency, or advanced technology in order to kind of say what they're doing. However, one of the differences there, and I'll post a link to this here, is Salesforce. Salesforce came out and said, we're cutting 45% of our customer service staff and we're using AI. Salesforce is a little bit different though, because they are an AI first company that wants to bring on people that businesses that want to use AI. Anyway, check out that video here. I think you'll find that interesting what Salesforce is doing. What's also interesting is Amazon denies that this is a comprehensive plan or that they've used any sort of tricky PR term strategy. So they're denying that this is real. They're saying like this internal document is one small sector of the business. It's not a big deal, guys. Don't freak out. And we never said that we should only use this type of technology. This is kind of on the low. However, at the same time, Amazon has upskilled 700,000 employees into engineering, robotics, and various new automation skills, which I think is a good thing. Like we're living in a time now, guys, where upskilling is going to become very, very important. The problems that you're solving today are probably not going to be the problems that you're solving in 10 years. Things are going to change. AI, robotics are going to start changing the numbers here. And if you give me just a moment, I'm going to give you some napkin math that might kind of open your eyes as to what's happening. So we're going to talk again in just a second about who's impacted, how you can adjust, and some napkin math on where things are headed. So I think you're going to find that interesting, okay? Because here's the reality. If a company can save money, they will. They will. And I can't fault them for that. You know, any organization that I'm running or consulting or working with, we're always looking to save money. We're always looking to AI and automation to make things more efficient, to save our because the problem is people are inconsistent. We make mistakes. We might get sick or complain. There's inter-office politics. You don't have to deal with that kind of stuff when it comes to AI and automation if it's set up and maintained properly. You can have one person serving the role of 3 or 4. And here's the kicker. If one company, if Amazon is successful in implementing all these robots, don't you think that other competitors would follow? Why wouldn't they? If Amazon is saving 30 cents per delivery, $12.6 billion over the course of the next, 18 months, why would other companies not do it? And get this, Amazon is the second largest employer in the United States. Can you guess who the the largest employer in the United States is? I'll give you a second here. Because if this company sees that Amazon is successful, they are going to jump on the bandwagon too. And that company, my friends, is Walmart. Walmart and Amazon, the 2 largest employers in the United States, they're going all in on robotics. And if you think this will not change the way that the job landscape looks, I've got a bridge in Texas to sell you. So who's at risk? Where are the opportunities? We're finally here. And guys, by the way, subscribe to my newsletter. It's completely free, AIupdate.ai. I'm really committed to help bringing awareness to some of these employment issues, but also giving you ideas of where you can find jobs and where you can upskill and how you can upskill. It's really important to me that guys like you and me, the everyday man, are able to continue to provide for our families because the world is changing. So subscribe to the newsletter, again, completely free, AIupdate.ai. I will see you over there. Also, that's a good way to get in touch with me. If you have a question or something, if you respond to the newsletter, it's a good way to get in touch with me, okay? AIupdate.ai. So what are the jobs that are gone? Okay, so gone. What are they looking to replace with these robotics? Repetitive manual labor. Repetitive manual labor is what's on the docket here. So order pickers, stockers, manual handlers of goods, loading, unloading items, sorting. Anytime you're picking up something, twisting, that's going to be gone. That's going to be done by a robot. And again, if you look in the comments here below, I have a link to a video of an Amazon shop. In fact, actually, I'll share a link to it here. I have a link to a video that I shared, which was actually of a Walmart warehouse. There's robots everywhere, guys. And this was done months ago. These companies are going all in on robots, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Now, what is new? So, as companies get away from this manual labor, there's this promise, and I talked about this in yesterday's video, there's this promise that, well, you're not going to have to do this mundane, brainless labor. Instead, we're going to enter an era. Of higher level work. You're going to use your brain. It's going to be more fulfilling. You're going to be happier, which may be true. Frankly, I don't know how happy I would be just picking up boxes and moving them all day. I like to use my brain. I like to think. I like to solve higher order problems. But I realize that that's not everybody. There's definitely some people going to be left behind. In any event, any job that you're doing now that feels kind of like manual and repetitive and brainless, for lack of a better term, those are the types of jobs that are being looked at when it comes to replacement by AI and robotics. It's this higher level type of the thinking and oversight and prompting that is going to be more prevalent. And just doing some research, what are the jobs in these so if let's say that there are 600,000 jobs that are replaced by these robots, well, what are the types of jobs that are still going to sustain? We're looking at jobs like automations, prompting, robotics mechanics. These are going to be really, really well-paying jobs. These are, I think, good industries to be in. If you're a college kid, you're thinking about what should I be doing. These are, I think, careers you could be looking at. But here's the deal. The guy that's 50 years old, that's been moving boxes, is not going to become a robotics mechanic. It's just not going to happen. So what do you tell those guys? What do these guys do? That's what we're covering on the channel. That's what we're covering in the newsletter. How can you adjust and adapt in a market that is changing rapidly? The problems that you've historically solved, they're not going to be solved by you anymore. And I did some quick napkin math on this, okay, that I think you'll find interesting. So there are 170 million jobs in the US right now. Now, McKinsey estimates that 60% of those jobs could automate 30% of their tasks. So that's 30 to 40 million US jobs that have a very high amount of automatable tasks, 30 to 40 million. So if you were to ask me, Mark, how many jobs are going to be displaced or changed up over the next 5 years? That is, I think, a good number to start at, 30 to 40 million by, we'll call it, 2035. Now, again, these are estimates. I could be off. And guys, there will be new jobs made. There will be new jobs created. But you're going to tell an Uber driver or a warehouse worker, hey, your job's going to go away. But guess what? I have a much more fulfilling job for you. You're going to become a robotics mechanic or a robotics engineer. I don't know how many guys are going to be able to make that jump. And that, guys, I think is the major question of the day. It's the major question of this shift into the AI and artificial intelligence age. And I covered this in yesterday's video in even more detail. It's a longer video than I typically cover, but I'm going to post a link to it here. You definitely want to check it out. The guys over, the tech bros over the All In podcast kind of spoke about this, and I just felt really compelled to kind of share the common man's ideas when it comes to this topic of job displacement and job replacement, upskilling. Check out yesterday's video, leave a comment. I would love to hear your opinions on this matter, because in my opinion, I'm not worried about the Terminator. I'm not worried about rogue AI. These are concerns. That's all I'm worried about. I'm worried about you and me and the future of work, because it's going to change very, very quickly. That's what I'm concerned about. So click yesterday's video and I'll see you there. See you, boys. Peace.